All right, so let's bring in the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Scott Turner. Welcome to you, sir. So jump on in here because this is a major conversation happening all over the country right now. People just feel like, home ownership is out of their reach. They feel like their grocery prices are still sky high. What do you tell people about the direction that current policies will take us? Will people be able to get into homes in the near future?
Well, Sandra, thank you. It's so good to be with you and John today. And I would say, to answer your question, yes, I would tell the American people that the Trump administration under President Trump's leadership are working very hard to bring down affordability in our country. Prices are coming down, as you've seen, as we've heard. The vice president made a great point that I want to reiterate. There's a lot of ideas that are on the table as it pertains to housing affordability, and we're working on those, meeting day in and day out. And you all have alluded to some of those ideas that have been surfacing. But I want to put the axe head to the root. Over 12 million illegal aliens came into our country, which has put a great strain on our housing supply and affordability. During the Biden administration, Sandra and John, the housing policies, the open border policies, the economic policies were weak and really just deflated housing in our country. And so we've been working very hard at HUD to help with affordability. Number one, taking down burdensome regulations that have crippled development and crippled building in our country. When you talk about illegal aliens in our country, 59% of illegal alien households use one or more welfare programs in our country. And that costs us about $42 billion. And so just that alone is a tremendous strain. But there's good news on the horizon, as you've seen and reported. Regulations are coming down. Inflation is coming down. Mortgage rates are coming down. I believe right now mortgage rates are about 6% or a little bit above, which is 12% lower than the president when he came into office.
Maybe we could ask you about the 50-year mortgage and some other plans, Mr. Secretary, but I just wanted to put up on the screen so folks at home know what the plight of young people trying to get into their very first home is. Home ownership rate for those who are in their 30s is 42%, which is more than 20 points lower than the national home ownership rate, which is 65%. The median age of home buyers is 59. The average age of first-time buyers is 40 compared to the average age of 29 in 1981. I remember I bought my first house in 1981. I wasn't making much money. It was about $20,000, but I bought it at the age of 23. And I don't know any 23-year-olds who aren't into crypto or some other big tech enterprise that can afford a house at that age.
Absolutely. And you put up on the screen the average age right now is 40 years old for first-time home buyers. And we know that that is not sustainable. I mean, I hear from young people all the time, how am I going to be able to afford a house? And I like how Secretary Bessent said, increasing wages and people taking home more. And that comes from getting our fiscal house in order and creating jobs here in America. And then from our standpoint, taking regulations down, not just from a federal level, but also very firmly encouraging localities in states and cities, mayors and economic development to take down your regulatory environment so that developers can develop and builders can build. Right now, you guys, it costs about 40% in costs and regulations just to build a multifamily development, about 20 to 25% of costs and regulations to build a single family development. So we have to attack the regulatory environment going forward.
That's the case Larry Kudlow made on this program on Wednesday this week. Listen.
Regulate, deregulate wherever you can. You got a lot of people, a lot of crazy lefties that don't want to build houses anymore. They want public housing, which is not going to help the story. But the mortgage rate has come down.
Okay. I also spoke to him about the 50-year mortgage pitch that we've heard from President Trump. Larry says thumbs down. Charles Payne was just here. He said thumbs down. Are you in favor of a 50-year mortgage to try to get more people into homes and, to your point, at a younger age than 40?
Well, Sandra, as I said before, there's a lot of ideas that are on the table, including the 50-year mortgage, the portable mortgage. And I don't think it's a matter of if I like it or if I'm for it. What really matters is what makes sense for our country, what's the appropriate policy to put in place, and going forward. President Trump and people in this administration have tremendous experience. You have a lot of smart people who care for the people of America. So I think at the end of the day, when we make a decision from our standpoint at HUD, and I know from other administration officials, including the president and vice president, we have to protect the housing market, and also from a HUD standpoint, protect mortgages that are backed by the American taxpayer. And so that's really our focus right now. But I believe that a great solution will come out of the people that are at the table.
Mr. Secretary, I wanted to ask you what you do about increasing inventory of affordable housing. Because, I mean, if you take the Metro Washington, D.C. area, for example, places like Falls Church, Arlington, McLean, when they were built up in the 1970s, people could get into those houses for $50,000 or $60,000. Now those same houses are going for $1.5 million as tear downs. Builders buy them and then they put up a $3.5 to $4 million house. How can anybody afford to get into these neighborhoods?
Well, they can't, and I'm glad you made that point, John. And this is what I'm saying. We have to get with local leaders, mayors, economic development, planning and zoning, and take a real inventory, to your point, of how is the regulatory environment crippling and literally shackling development and building in our said communities across America. And every community is different. You have rural communities, you have urban communities, you have suburban communities, you have tribal communities. And so we have to take an inventory. What is the regulatory environment? How is it impacting building? And then make the healthy, hard decisions to unleash innovative building and creativity, because we have builders and developers in our country that are ready to build, that have great strategies, great plans, and capital has to be easier to obtain. Regulatory environment has to come down. And so I think a combination of those will help us to spur development of affordable housing.
All right. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, sir. A lot of questions on the housing market, and you took a lot of ours, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.